Hello there, welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. I'm working in my art journal, so get comfy and let's get crafty. So today I am creating an art journal page that uses all of the prompts for the month of March for the Mission Inspiration Group. And the first week was Horizon, the second week was Connection. And again, I am doing these prompts in a monthly page instead of a weekly page because my life and time right now. The third week was Color. And this month was a little bit of a stretch for me. And the fourth week was Noise. And March did have 5 Fridays. So the fifth prompt was Cyclical. And that, I think, might have been the one that threw me for the most loop. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. I have a piece of art journal paper. And I'm starting with the Horizon prompt. And I decided to pull out 3 Inktense pencils. This is dark bark, charcoal gray, and black ink. And I'm going to freehand a horizon. I am not under any delusions that I am any kind of a fine artist. It is a very abstract, bordering the line of realism kind of horizon drawing. But, you know, I was really proud of myself for a couple of reasons. I did it. I didn't erase it. I didn't start over. I didn't flip it over. And I kind of liked how it turned out. Now, is the dimension exactly right? Not even a little bit. Is the technical drawing aspect correct? Probably not. But I held my pencil back really far up the barrel. I'm putting some very light drawings on my paper. You can't hardly even see most of them. I have a mountain, a couple of hills, some little tree trunks with some pretend branches. I did have a plan to fill that in later. So we're just kind of going with it. Once I have my sketch on there, I did grab a paintbrush, and I went through a number of paintbrushes. I was trying to find one that had exactly the skinny and then the largest brush end that I could find. So I'm just going to go ahead and activate all of the pigment in the pencil that I've put down. Once I have activated all of the pigment and then dried it, this will become a permanent medium. That's why I love Inktense pencils for art journaling. I am sorry for my voice. I just cannot win with the pollen. I'm like, oh my gosh. Every time I think I'm about to get it under control, it just kicks back up and knocks me in the teeth. And like today and yesterday, my face, sorry, big sniffle. My face is so full of congestion, I can't hardly even, it's just ridiculous. I had to go to the orthodontist yesterday to get new buttons put on for my braces. I'm doing the Invisalign ones. And my mouth is propped open so long that my throat was dry that I coughed the rest of the day. Literally cannot win for losing. Anyways, I am just taking this paintbrush that's got water on it, activating all that pigment. You can see these trees are not anything like real trees, but I had a plan to make them look more like real trees. This is kind of a placement holder. We're going to call it a placeholder for my eventual tree images. Also, in the upper there, I have a placement for a sun or a moon. I hadn't quite decided when I was drawing if this was going to be a daytime or a nighttime scene. But I'm just I have scribbled some pigment on the ground areas there, and I'm activating that pigment. It also will not be visible when I am done with this page. But it's where my brain was telling me to go. And I am so used to holding those Inktense pencils back clear by the end that I've adopted my paintbrush in that pattern today as well. So win-win. Sorry for the sniffles. All right, I'm going to go ahead and heat set this. I need to make sure all of the pigment is activated, and I need it to be dry in order to move on to the next. So my method of getting the trees to look like trees is this really, really old Stampin' Up! Lovely Layers stamp. Like super old. This might be one of the oldest stamps they've made that is in my collection. It's just been around forever and ever. And it is so versatile. So I inked that up in Archival Watering Can Gray ink. I used Archival ink because it is waterproof. And I used watering can because it kind of goes with the color palette that I chose with my Inktense pencils. I used the group of trees and then the single tree. And if I had been thinking clearly, like dimension-wise, those shorter, smaller trees would have gone on the back hill, and this larger tree would have gone on the front hill, but, whatever. I went back and re-emphasized those hill lines with a darker, this is the black ink versus the charcoal gray pencil. And I'm just kind of extending the grass lines that are already drawn in the tree stamp image and kind of putting those into my already drawn horizon. I know technically it's not a horizon line, but when I was thinking horizon, I was thinking like sunrise or sunset kind of thing as opposed to a technical horizon line. Just where my brain went this month when I saw the prompts. So, like I said, this year, Mike is releasing the prompts 1 week at a time, but my schedule does not allow that for right now. Oh, back to the page. The next prompt is communication, and the first thing I thought of when I saw that was the good old-fashioned telephone. Telephones have made communication in my life incredibly more easy than it would have been had I been born in another time. In my married life, I have not lived closer than 6 hours to my parents and the rest of my family because my husband was in the military. So having the ability to phone and now social media and text has made my connection to my family stay relevant. So the telephone was the first thing I thought of when I thought of connections and how it allows people to stay connected. I did apply this with some liquid medium. This is a matte liquid medium. I decided to go ahead and go over all of the entirety of the page because I want to add some acrylic paint next, and I wanted to make this a more non-porous surface so that the paint did not just get soaked up into the paper. Kind of like a gesso layer, but not. I'm going to go ahead and heat set that as well. Anyway, as I was saying, because of my schedule, I do not have the ability to do a page per week. So I have taken all of the weekly prompts and added them into one page. The third week prompt was color. So I have pulled out my acrylic paints, and I am going to add color to my horizon. I have a brown distress paint for the tree trunks, and I'm using a small brush to put those trunks in. They're a little bit wider than they were drawn on the stamp, but it's all good. I have a matte yellow paint. I'm doing the sun. I decided this was going to be a daytime scene. And I'm doing the sun in 2 layers to kind of block out that gray. And the reason I am doing that is because the other colors of paint I'm using are the ones I have that have the mica in them. And they're a little bit more translucent. So I wanted something a little more opaque to put down in the back for the sun. So my next step is to add the green back into the trees. And I am doing this with kind of a stippling kind of. I'm not using a short enough bristle brush to actually technically call it stippling, but I am just putting down little blobs of paint where the leaves and branches of the trees are stamped and drawn. And it, even close up, it doesn't look terrible, but from a distance, it looks really great. So anyways, working on getting those tree leaves back in. And you can see the places where it didn't stamp perfectly or where I drew some really crazy trees no longer matter. I'm also taking that green and adding it into the grassy area. And I know that clearly in reality, you're not going to find a payphone phone booth out in the middle of a grassy field. But that's okay. It's called artistic license. And I'm using all of my license today. So I have the green put in there. I've dried that back. I'm going to add some purple to that mountain because in the western part of the United States, especially when you are looking at a mountain from the distance, they have that purple hue to them. So I'm going with Purple Mountain's Majesty, right? Like in the song. But yeah, just because. And then I have a blue that I'm adding to the rest of the white space as the sky-ish area. So I put it here up around the sun. And then down here behind these trees in the phone booth, because technically that should be sky too. Like I said, the dimension isn't great. The dimension isn't great. And here's where I'm adding the shimmery, it's actually called Sunshine Gold to the sun. All right, so here I have added all of the colors. So I have the horizon, I have the connection, I have the colors. The next one was noise. And when I thought of noise, all of the feedback that occurs in the world. Like, when my kids are being sassy, when there's garbage, garbage isn't the right word. When I'm getting less than pleasant feedback from people in the world, and that's just became the noise I was thinking of. The stress, the anxiety, the to-do list, the lack of completion of the to-do list, the things I want to complete, those are all noise. So I added those to my page with speech bubbles. For the cyclical, okay, y'all, I could not come up with cyclical that went with this page in any way, shape, or form, except to add circles. I know that kind of is like a lame cop-out, but I kind of like how it turned out. And here's the genius part of this cyclical part. This little circle thing I'm using is actually a circle cutter. It is like old school, like before dies. You have a little blade that goes through the holes, and you can cut everything up to a 6-inch circle. Well, instead of using the blade, I just stuck the tip of my Inktense pencil in the charcoal gray color through the little blade holes on that and made some circles all over my page. And it may not be what you think of first when you think of cyclical, but I like the circle addition to my page. And when it's done, I think you're going to, I hope you agree that it's kind of a nice nod to that cyclical thing. Because everything in life is cycles, right? The seasons are cycles. The phases of life are cycles. Our daily routine is a cycle. Like most of our life occurs in cycles with the occasional bump that pushes that perfect round curvature out into like a long shape or an egg shape for a minute until you get back into your cycle. Like being sick right now is making it really hard for me to want to be in my craft room. It's making voiceovers really hard. I think I've paused this 20 times to stop and have a coughing fit or to blow my nose. One of the reasons I put this video in 2x speed was because I had to stop and blow my nose so many times. It was a very fragmented video. So once it dried, the gray had dried back too much. So I grabbed that black ink pencil and I just went around the lines again. I did not worry about pulling out my circle cutter again. I could see the lines good enough in real life to just go over them and then activate that pigment with some more water. And I think it kind of went with this whole connection, noise, horizon, cyclical thing. The circle is kind of emanating off that phone booth and surrounding the speech bubbles kind of all ended up flowing together in a way that I had not really imagined they would. So even though I thought it was kind of an easy out way of adding that prompt cyclical to my page, I like how it turned out. I feel like it takes that horizon background and makes it more texture than focal image into the background, which is fine. I have no hatred for that at all. But it does kind of connect the noise and the connection that we have in life into one idea. So my page is done. I signed it on the bottom off screen. I'm not sure why I edited that part out, but maybe it's because I was blowing my nose and it was off screen anyway. I don't remember. I'm gluing down my prompt card to the back of my page. I did edit those photos down a little bit and make them so they'd fit on the back of my page. I'm going to go ahead and punch the holes in the page so it fits into my binder. And my page is complete. So this is my art journal page for the Mission Inspiration Facebook group, March 2024 weekly prompts. I know that's a lot of words to put into the title. I'm just going to kind of zoom in there so you can see those cyclical circles. And here's a better photograph of how that all ties together. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed my video. I have a couple of other videos here that I think you would like as well. I have also added that subscribe button. If you have not subscribed yet, I would love it if you did. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Tell YouTube you liked it. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me what's new in your world, and have a really great day.